Brother. Morning, fam. To yourself. 6:21, November 12th. Turns out I was a bitch. I didn't upload anything. But today's my technically my Sunday. If I play it like that in the work week. Yeah. This is not the start officially, like 7 videos uploaded and then I could just start to get a little flow, then it's never gonna happen, brother. I want to start another one because this is like, I've been reading a few books concurrently. Today, still, this is the main focus. This is gonna be the start. My boy Anton got me this, and this, I don't have enough faith to be atheist, but even though it's, I don't have a problem. It's pretty damn useful. Used to be porn is porn. You know what's better than porn? AI hentai. I mean, it's an era we live in. As an anime guy, I used to have a picture of Rim from ReZero up here, holographic. Titties bust out. It's crazy. But I hope this audio works in the background today. I'm gonna figure it out. First reading session, first 30 minutes, we're going with The Body Keeps the Score. Then I'm gonna do yoga, just Apple Fitness stuff, and come back and read again, and then meditate, and then come back and read again until like 10 o'clock this morning. Then we'll go fucking take a bitch ass hike or go to the gym. I need to get some sun. New supplement. And fucking mail on my desk. Oh man, love it. APS and shit to get to later. Pay my Apple card. You know what I mean? Like a little comfort. I bet it. Boy, spitting in the back. Okay, page 285, self-leadership. Let's make a good dip. Color of the day. It was on green last time. Let's go purple. Okay, let's go purple. Nah, that's a new book type shit. Two. Let's go orange. Okay. I like my leg up. Still been a lonely boy. But so far I guess I gotta pick somebody up in 2 days. Little side note, right? Why did the bitch repost something saying like it was a meme like something about somebody along the lines of you're wasting your time out at clubs and bars again. Why not just sit in the cafe with a notebook, do some writings, have some deep conversation? And here I am like, brother, sister, the fuck is you saying? I just could have been got a book. I got 2 journals right here. I can't even make this up. One for free journaling, one for readings. It's so weird, man. I deactivated my IG coming up on this now 4th week being apart because I was being too overly analytical through likes and reposts, and that wasn't healthy for me. And I saw this thing along the lines of like, it doesn't generally work out with an avoidant because they don't grow. And I'm like, if it's not the truest thing ever, after now in hindsight reflecting off of the literature and talking about habits and behavior change. But I say all that to say, yeah, it was just too seedy, too much this and that relationship, and I was becoming something that I know I'm not. It was becoming distraught about another's behaviors, and that's something that really caught me off guard, because you start to think about, like, I love comedy. I love lately Big J Okerson's live shit, my boy Geoffrey Asmus, a whole bunch of comedy. Kill Tony, Roast Battle. Just because somebody doesn't like the joke doesn't mean the joke didn't land. It might not just be your crowd, of course. I like the idea too. If you're a lizard, you might not work well trying to hang out with fish. I don't know. If you like the heat in dry climate and then somebody's all about the water, you may feel rejected by a sense of not aligning with another. But that has nothing to do with you. Even though it's kind of a slippery slope between being able to reflect and honestly see yourself, it's also at the same time, as I've reminded myself many times before, who would you be with or without this person? Teach myself to roll better blunts, but at the same time, I gotta work out, I gotta read. Nursing and psychiatry's mix is on the way. I'm sure healthcare will be a semi-stable field as we got more and more bots every day being developed. But yeah, so it's like, somebody was all sedentary and on too much social media, and I'm glad that you seem to feel more active, because my broke ass can't really do too much right now. But either or, this is like, hey, it was Wednesday. I'm gonna upload everything. I promise myself, come this time next week or 2 weeks from now, we just popping in. We just hitting the readings. Less reflection, life. I mean, it's gonna be. I think I'm gonna title it Sean's reading rants. Give a fuck. Just real life, nigga. All right, self-leadership. Internal family systems recognizes the cultivation of mindful. Yada yada. We're going from there. 6:30. Ooh, see, ties right back into Holonic intent. The internal family, all systems, families, organizations, nations can operate effectively only if they have clearly defined and competent leadership. The internal family is no different. All facets of ourselves need to be attended to. The internal leader must wisely distribute the available resources and supply a vision for the whole that takes all parts into account. I can't explain it, but the Holonic being like something and something and something and something. If I like to apply that to the gaming play of life and have intent to be the underlying guiding principle, you can have your virtues and values about how you wish your actions to be received and how you would go about taking those actions, but all direction in life is based on intent. To an extent, what do you intend to do for your life? Oh, I want to see the world, I want to develop, I want to grow. I don't know. There's something there. It's too early to ramble, but we'll get there. We'll do some writings about it. But as Richard Schwartz explains, the eternal system of an abuse victim is different. And then I like this because goes back to the idea of the mind being a constellation. What happens when the self is no longer in charge? As most people don't understand, not every aspect of hearing their voices, choosing their choices. Everybody has this feigned control. I remember when I took mushrooms the first time, low-key fucked myself up because I smoked a blunt thinking that I was 3 hours into the lull. But after that, I jumped back into the bedroom and white knuckled it, came back out. I remember looking at her and looking like, what? Why are you so wound up? All this false control. I'm on top of things. I'm in control. But IFS causes blending, a condition in which the self identifies with the part, as in I want to kill myself or I hate you. Where's the I versus the me? Notice the difference between a part of me wishes that I were dead. A part of me gets triggered when you do that and it makes me want to kill you. He's starting to just parse the experience of the psyche and its narrative-based contextualization. Like, you see the conversation happening between different aspects. But I think the average person doesn't see themselves as a aggregation of perspectives, possibly of individual perspectives. Man, Inside Out, huh? Schwartz makes two assertions that extend the concept of mindfulness into the realm of active leadership. The first is that the self does not need to be cultivated or developed. Beneath the surface of the protective parts of trauma survivors, there exists an undamaged essence. A self that is confident, curious, and calm. A self that has been sheltered from destruction or is protected. Mindfulness is truly the key. And that's why I think I wanted to... I keep rambling, but I have to stop here on the getting to know the internal landscape. Because if it wasn't for, like, if I said, what is the one thing that you wish you could bring to people all around the planet? One would be like, oh, everybody reads daily, but why not meditation or yoga? Just the effects of reading with paper, the prefrontal cortex, the transcendent perspective taking, especially if you read storytelling, the engagement with word and constantly contextualizing, kind of making you like a healthier problem solver or infer. You have to reflect. It builds up parts of the brain, but really it helps you, I think at some level it helps you become more observant, because it's a dialogue, right? It's a dialogue, right? I'm reading, this symbol set as a frame of reference called language, I am reading, and then every fucking sentence, the paragraph, I'm like, and what are you saying? And so I think that translates into life as a constant experience of a cost-benefit analysis and inference. Alright, what am I going to do today? You project on a landscape of possibility called it's fucking 6:35 a.m. to 9 a.m. And then you cost-benefit analysis, you infer your internal state. What do I feel? What do I desire? What is my capacity at this moment? And then you constantly have this dialogue within the psyche of virtues and values and desires and but I don't feel like it, and yada 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 yada. Reprioritization constantly, recontextualization constantly. And if you're not observant or mindful, you don't know what parts of you are running off with the will, hypothetically. Oh, I gotta go kill that. I just seen something crawl on my wall. God damn it. What the fuck, brother? I don't fucking know, but shit wakes up early with me sometimes. Man, imagine having a bitch back over here. Crazy, big dog, Ziggy, crazy. Nigga could have been on the yoga mat. That's crazy. That's what I hate. Honestly, nigga could. Yeah, hey, bro, how you feel? You might have to be gone soon, but you know, you in the video. Yeah, you don't care. The shit that I just seen sprayed, but I'm gonna have to go clean that up. If I see some shit on my desk, though, I'm crashing out. Got a little black knife. Speaking of, on a side note, since this video's already a mess, nobody's gonna be watching shit. I call this my Jin Woo knife. I don't know why, a little shadow blade. Alright. Let's get back, round this chapter up, and hypothetically, man, if you really do continue this would be so fucking laughable this time next year, even though there'll be a world of AI content. Even if you just had 10 people constantly watching 2 minutes. From fucking Pakistan to Nigeria to Texas, who knows? But then you gotta make your speech more coherent. You can't be rambling, but it'll be early morning. You need to just, learn to edit a little bit and just be more structured. Alright. Getting to know the internal landscape. The task of the therapist is to help patients separate this confusing blend into separate entities so that they're able to say, this part of me is like a little child and this part of me is more mature but feels like a victim. I like that. Because that's what I really have to stop, man. I got to get back to, I think, what really explores the relationships to higher and lower levels of the psyche and impulse or underdeveloped layers is really Finding Radical Wholeness, the Red Book, and We Who Wrestle with God. But the Prophet. But we're not reading those right now. Make space for mindful self-observation. Literally, man, like the therapist to help develop dialogues with these emotional, I don't want to say paradigms, but I can only think of Inside Out or fucking Rick and Morty when Beth had like 4 different types of her radicalizing curve in her unconscious, but it manifested as new behaviors and new feelings and new perspectives in the conscious. Ours split. Like there's so many aspects of the psyche, the constellation, the mosaic. Kind of reminds me of the 7 deadly sins. I think that's true. Like part of the 7 deadly sins is manifest in all people in a different blend. Maybe they have a good, healthy 4 virtue senses self over here, but the other 3 in the sins fall off into the unconscious and the shadow, only to be manifested at a moment of triggering, right? Our emotional stimulation. Or as they every man has what is that book? The King, Warrior, Magician, Lover. Let me stop. This is getting too chaotic. Let me just focus on this chapter and read and meditate. Round 2 would be more straightforward, better music. Round 3 is gonna be pure. Damn, this is where I'm at too. like to an extent. Patients are asked to identify the part involved in the current problem. Like, who's feeling worthless, abandoned, obsessed with vengeful thoughts. I had if that was part of me sometimes this week. As they ask themselves, what inside me feels that way? I had to recognize that there's a part of me, especially in tandem to this girl, especially because we've probably been a decade, that's like, I want to say, he seems like an angsty 12-year-old who's like full of gusto but super insecure. Like, I imagine it like a kid at like football practice, super energetic, but just he just feels like every time he gets a shot, he's gonna trip over his shoes or jumble the ball, and then be like, I'll never get to show my best self, and then get discarded. Because that's the idea. I think that's the real trouble with the deeper psychological, not say issues that I withhold, but after losing a job, 2 in the last 2 years over, to me, like unfair terminations, a lie here, a spiteful soup over there. You're like, man, you had this thought that, man, you gotta get rid of that whole background character from your childhood semblance, because you felt like that, and then in this relationship you started to feel like that at times. And then you had that dialogue one day with a tearful eye, like, why does it feel like you could just be thrown away? Like people could take it or leave it at all times. Like you're not held in the revere or reverie, I don't know, you're not held in the heart of people, and you're so constantly reaching out at the back of somebody, always trying to walk away, performing to be received, not performing, but giving more generally just to still get less. It's crazy. Mindful self-observation. Damn, and I just recognize that if that part of me is really born out of like it's like a skepticism deep down of, outside of your loved ones, families, a deep skepticism of people's true intent. Always trying to think that people see a convenient value that they may try to utilize you for, but otherwise, ain't no unconditional nothing. Appreciation, friendship, love. Manifest a critical mass of self. This kind of dialogue begins to take place spontaneously. Fun parts. I came to see me, the manager, I'll control the temper tantrums. I can't be mad, but then in shit like this, after I think about possible infidelity, I'm like, but look, Joanne came to see me to help her manage her uncontrollable temper tantrums and to deal with her guilt about her numerous affairs. feel a little bit better. Saturday, Joanne's been sexually molested by her mother's boyfriend in first or second grade. I mean, you can't. And she thought she'd be ruined for it. I get that too. But demanding and critical of her husband, for whom she lacked any sexual desire, but she was passionate and reckless in her love affair. But that all affairs always ended in a similar way. In the middle of a lovemaking session, she would suddenly become terrified and curl up in a ball. Because the disorganized psyche is a crazy place. You don't want to destroy this lady, but you just hate the ideal of infidelity. Because it's such a conscious act of choices. You don't stumble there. You don't find yourself there. I mean, I guess there's circumstances where people do find themselves out in the bar. I don't know. I haven't been to a bar, but they find themselves not being able to put off another person's attempt at closing the distance. But then there's just a choice. There's just so much choice involved in stumbling into making those particular bad decisions that it's hard to reconcile the pain caused by another manifests from the pain deep down in the perpetrator's psyche. Unhealed trauma, unmet needs, repressed desires, unvoiced, all that. That's why you don't trust this bitch. Because after those little flirting lies, I was like, okay, till you understand your own attachment style and can read through trauma, I don't really know what would keep you even mindfully aware to have an integrity of your decision making. But somebody who has a weak sense of self seeks validation in multiple forms. Tell me I'm pretty, right? Tell me I'm special. Tell me I'm not. Tell me all these things. Make me feel good about myself. And if you make me feel good about myself, yeah, you got me. But then that's the idea of you gotta really have a healthy internal dynamic with yourself, or else nothing else matters. But can't get you to read, can't get you to get nothing. So, but Joanne, man. Been molested, okay. Having sex with her husband for her was vomit. It must be for others. Yo, who is it? I mean, sometimes you hear some shit about how people are perceived. Who is this poor man who married this damaging, unhealed, traumatic woman who then goes to have all these affairs, cheat on him, talk shit about him, say being with him intimately is vomit. Bro, what the fuck was that type of courtship for you to all this to be in the background? It's who you choose, man, because I hypothetically, it's okay with losing, but who you choose has so much weight on the quality of your life. If you play any game and your player two's shooting you in the back, it's hard to fight forward with friendly fire. And that's like a relationship. It's hard to fight forward in this world of chaos and develop and be fulfilled when you have to be worried about the closest ones to you being able to be honest with you. That's why I think it's really easy for me to let go now, is because after all the holding going and all the belief in their potential, I have to ask myself, do you trust this person? And I really still don't. Because behavior has been more consistent than ever, and especially in this last, the trip turned in from 2 weeks to a month, to now this is how we ended things, come back for a week. Lost so much respect. But then, but her voice. It's not for me to worry about anymore. As far as I know, you don't even live in Arizona. But then, you wish the best for somebody? What is the best? to run away from. Nah, I wish healing. I don't know what the best is for you. Only you might know, but when you heal, you might figure that out. I wish somebody confronts the deep parts of themselves that they're sidestepping. That's what I wish for most people, and for myself as well. Meeting the managers. You know what? It's been a crazy morning. I'm going to stop real quick for the first break so I could really tighten up with these next few reading sessions. So, literally 4 fucking pages, 31 minutes. Brother, slow morning. Let's get to that mat and tighten up for the next 2 hours. Johnny.